Hi, kindergarten, and welcome to another Wednesday computer and technology class. And today, we're going to take a look at something that should be pretty quick and simple. And I hope that you guys like every class that I've ever had in the past has really liked this site. It's enjoyable, and it's a chance to be a little bit artistic. It's a chance to be creative and do something on a computer that is similar to something in the real world. So, if you have ever seen, sometimes at a fair, a carnival, a boardwalk, or other places where people make sand art, and what they do is they take these bottles that can sometimes be in shapes and in different figures, and they get different colors of sand and pour it in through a funnel layer by layer until they make some really cool designs, cool patterns that look something like this. And there's tons of different ones, and every one can look different and unique. And you may have even done it yourself in the real world or seen somebody do it before. There's a website that we can go on to make this kind of sand art. It's something that is relaxing, creative, artistic, and really enjoyable. Now, to get there, that's the first thing we need to do, and hopefully by now you know how to get to a lot of places that we use in computer class by using that website Portal. So here I am on our school's homepage, weymouthtownshipschool.org, and if you have any trouble getting here, maybe an adult can help you out, but then you should have no problem once you're here, because once you use your wheel and go down, or sometimes if you're on something like a Chromebook, you need to use this bar on the side and go down, you should get to Weymouth Portal. That's right here on the left, right? It says the words, and then it has this little icon image that you click on. And once you click on it, you get to this page, and we've looked at it before. We've seen it for other things, and it has tons and tons of links to many different places on the internet. Well, the one that we're going to go to today is down on the page, and it's actually in the very last box that says Fun and Games. And that site is called This Is Sand, and I put a smiley face next to it because I do that when there's ones for kindergarten so that it's easy to point out which ones that we want to pay attention to, which ones we might use or get to. So you scroll almost all the way down, right, under Fun and Games, and right here, this website, This Is Sand, and give it a click. Now, I'll show you how to do this, but it might mean that an adult needs to help you again. But this site, it requires something called Flash Player, and you have to allow Flash Player to run. And see how there's this little puzzle shape? It's like from a jigsaw puzzle piece. It says underneath of it, click to enable Adobe Flash Player. So I'll give it one click. And then up here it says, do I want to allow this or do I want to block it? Now, a lot of times if kids don't know, they just go clicking things and try to click to make that go away. But if you click block, that means that you won't be able to use this site. If it's a site that you know, if it's a site that your teacher is saying, if it's a site that you want to be able to use because you know what's on it and you want to do it, then you definitely want to allow Flash Player. So we're going to click allow. Also, there's a little banner down here that we can get to go away because it's telling us that the website uses cookies. That's a really funny word in thinking about websites because they're not actually cookies. They're not actually something you can eat or that's tasty or that are anything like cookies. It's just saying that it's going to add something to your computer to basically let it know that you are on this site and when you go to this site and how many times you go to this site. And you can just click got it because you're not even saying whether you are allowing that or not. You're just saying that, or that banner is just saying that they do use those things called cookies. In any case, now we are here. It will also say at the bottom there's an app that you could get on an iPad or that you could get for an Android tablet or something or phone, but we're using it right here in a computer browser, so I'm going to use my mouse and click Start. And it gives us some tips right here. And we're going to click Got It to be able to begin. And from the beginning, it doesn't look like there's much going on here. But what you can do is notice the colors that are up here in the corner, right? And first, when we click our mouse and we hear a little noise, hear that? I'm actually going to turn it down for the rest of the time, but that's telling us that it's pouring out some sand, right? It's pouring out some sand. And as I go, I can click and hold my mouse button down, and I could keep it in one spot and make something like a mountain, and I could go and I could move it from left to right so I could fill up a whole area. And right now, from the beginning, it's doing something that is a fancy word called a gradient. And what that means is a mix of colors. So every time I click, it's mixing colors between the purple that you see on the outside and the green that's on the inside. Now, I didn't choose that. That's just what started when I started off the going into this website. And in a second, we're going to see how to choose those colors. But I give it a click and hold, and if I keep my mouse still, it fills up one spot. If I move my mouse around, it will fill up that area. And I can try to go slow. I can try to go fast. I can see what happens as I stop and click again. And because this one is on the one where it goes in that gradient, every time I click, it's doing a little bit of a different shade of those colors. And it winds up looking really cool. Now, as far as the colors go, you can pick from any color you want. I click on this circle right here up in the top right that has those colors, and it gives me all of these right here. Now, I always ask kids when they're in my class, how many colors do you see? How many colors do you think are there to choose from? And it's kind of odd because they're a little blurry and they fade in from one to the other. So think right now in your brain how many colors you see. And I'll tell you, most kids say a number somewhere around 6 or 7. Some kids might even say 8 or 9. So we could say one right here for red, some orange, some yellow, some green, some blue, some dark blue, some purple, some red. And then kids start to notice up here there's also white and black. I'm going to tell you something, and you might not believe me, but I promise, promise, promise it's true. There are actually millions of colors here. Millions of colors. In between all of these different shades, every different spot on this screen that I could click on makes a different color, and it's even more than you would possibly imagine, because from right here to right next to it right here, they look so close, but they're actually different colors. So in any case, I'm going to think of a color I like this dark blue, and now when I go and press it to make my sand, that's the color that shows up, and I can switch that around as much as I want and go about filling up the page. And some kids like to use only 1 or 2 colors and switch back and forth between them and go back and forth and put a lot of those colors in a pattern. Some kids like to use every possible color they can, and they put in those colors over and over and change them a lot so that their finished pattern has tons and tons and tons of colors. And there's one more trick I'm going to show you. Let's say you want a big area filled up with color. I'm going to choose a dark color that is going to show up really well, like this green here. I'm going to choose that green, and let's say I want a lot of green, a giant mountain of green right here. Instead of holding my mouse button down, if I get tired of doing that, I can practice a double click. And what I just did is I double clicked, and now my hand is off of my mouse. I'm not touching my mouse anymore. I'm not holding that button down, and it will keep going. Even if I move my mouse, I don't need to hold the button down anymore. I don't need to click anymore, because since I did that double click, it's going to keep that color going and going and going. So this is a really fun site, and you can be as creative as you want. Some kids like to make different patterns, some make different shapes, some make things that look like mountains, some make colors or patterns that have to do with holidays or things that they like. And I hope that you enjoy doing it to make that art from sand right there. Now, when you're done, what could you do? Well, there's a couple things. First, there are times when kids do this for fun, and then when they're finished, like if I said I was finished right now, they just say that that was a piece of art that they like to make, they enjoyed doing, and then they're just done, and they X out and close it, and they don't need to do anything else. But do you see it's a little bit hard to tell, but there's 3 little lines right here. If you press those three little lines, there are ways that you can go ahead and save that picture, and you can print it out if an adult says that it's okay. Sometimes, and I'm sorry I clicked ahead of time, but sometimes you just might save the file on your computer. So if I click this little camera icon right here, what it's going to do is it's going to take a picture of that art that I made, and then I can tell the computer where I wanted to save it. And that's something that you would probably want an adult to help you do. Once you have that made into a file, it's possible to print it out on a printer, where it's possible to make them and save them to the computer and have a lot of those files of that different artwork that you made. The last little point that I'm going to point out is that you can see some artwork that other people made. And I'll tell you, every time I show classes this or look at this, there are things that are so amazing, I don't understand how it's possible that anybody did them. So check out, now there's some that look like photographs. And I think that those people that have them look like photographs, they're actually using another app, another program to make those pictures. But one like this right here, check out this unicorn. Somebody went and planned exactly how they wanted to make it look like a unicorn when they were done, and they did this by hand. And that's amazing. Or let's look at another really cool one. Like this. I think that's actually a another photograph one. But here's another one where somebody used a few colors that went together in patterns, and look how beautiful that is. That looks like a piece of art I'd hang on my wall. Oh, here's somebody who thought of the idea of Halloween and a jack-o'-lantern or pumpkin. Now, does it look like a picture of a jack-o'-lantern or a pumpkin? No, but they tried to think of creative ways to use those shades of oranges, browns, yellows, where exactly they stopped, and they made some black to put in for the eyes and nose, some brown and green for a stem and a leaf up here, and that looks awesome right in time for October and the fall and Halloween. And as you look through, actually I'm seeing a lot now of that theme, but as you look through, you can see what some other people have done. Just know that when you see one like this, that's like a photograph, I am pretty sure that people use another app to make it look like this. I think people would have a really, really hard time doing that by hand. Anyway, I hope you enjoy This Is Sand. I hope you like it. I hope you think it's fun and see if you can make some really, really cool artwork. And if a mom or dad or anybody helping wants to send any of those things to me at my email address, they're always welcome to, and I'd love to see them. All right, guys, take care, and I'll see you next week.